Hey Taurus. Welcome to your timeless reading. I trust that this message will find you in the time and place you most need it. Um, I also encourage you to use discernment when listening to any tarot reader, including me. Um, I just watched Pocahontas 2, and Grandmother Willow said to Pocahontas, spirits can help guide you, but it's the guide within that will always steer you the right way. So anyway, that said, I pulled your cards and I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. King of Cups, Knight of Wands, the Sun, the Star, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Swords in reverse, Nine of Swords in reverse, the Devil in reverse. And then for my Iris Oracle, I got Make It Look Like the Knight and Justice. So I'm going to read Make It Look Like the Knight from my book. Okay. Priestess of the Night. And I feel like this lady kind of got Taurus vibes, right? Okay. Priestess of the Night. When those who have vision in the darkness come out to celebrate the time of the moon. Okay. Night is our necessary balance. Do not fear seeing what is unseen, and do not be afraid if what you see makes others feel uneasy. Do we put less value on that which is not sunshiny and bright? We put a veil between the sun and the moon, between the darkness and the light. The night is just as much the truth as the sun. You can use your all-knowing to bring your knowledge of ultimate balance and the value of the unseen to those who only live in the daylight. The priestess of the night shows us the darkness to help achieve temperance. Oh, I really like that. Interesting. And then we also got Justice. And this card in this deck, of course, it's justice like any justice would be, but it talks specifically about how in life we have to make choices, right? And we might be faced with choices where either way you slice it, someone's going to be unhappy or someone's going to disagree with you. Someone's going to say you should have done XYZ when you thought you should have done ABC. So it's like, kind of the message of this card is like, ultimately you're going to have to do what you can live with. Like when you're faced with difficult choices where there isn't a clear answer, what is the choice that no matter how it pans or shakes out, you're gonna be like, that was the best move I could have made at the time with the information I had, and I'm going to stand by it. So that's what this justice is particularly talking about, is choices, and I think that is a nice parallel here to what this card was talking about, which is like, maybe you can see something that someone else doesn't want to see, right? And so that's might be influencing why maybe you're being steered or asked to go in a certain direction that just doesn't resonate with you. So a lot of this reading feels to me like you're breaking free of other people's perceptions so that you can listen to your own voice. That feels like kind of the main theme of your reading. Because, I mean, we got the Devil in reverse, right? And this card, it's all kind of about being chained up, typically. Like, those guys are on this block. And then the Devil's like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what to do and control you and keep you, like, in limited patterns, blah, blah, blah. The Devil has many meanings, I think. It's a complicated card. But I mean, I think this card was kind of talking about that, right? Like, the darkness can have truth and light within it just as much as the light can. But with the Devil in reverse, in the context of this reading, I feel like a lot of what I'm getting for you, Taurus, especially right now as we're in your season, is you kind of stepping up into your own authority. So it's like, you might have like the whole devil angel business on your shoulder, and that would echo back to this justice. And it's like, who cares what the devil has to say? What do you have to say? What is your intuition telling you? I think a lot of this reading too feels to me like not acting from places of fear. We got the Nine of Swords in reverse. So let me try to like make it a little more concrete. Maybe I've been here, this is what I'm getting. I've been watching Search Party on HBO Max, and I really love it. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, but there's a murder case, right? And it's like, there's a lot of devil energy in it, for sure. But one of the characters ends up kind of navigating her own court case. She ends up kind of pulling some weird moves that everyone doesn't agree with, because they think she's setting herself up for failure, but it, ends up working out for her. That's a little bit of a spoiler alert, sorry. My point is, like, the right moves might on the surface look really weird to other people, or the right moves for you might also be a little scary looking. Maybe it's a big leap that you're gonna take, for example. So that's to start with. Let's kind of dive into some of these other cards. First message, Taurus, you might be faced with crossroads, difficult decisions, with a lot of voices weighing in on what is right for you or what is going to have the best outcome. However, you are really in touch, and isn't that what I was saying at the beginning with, like, Grandmother Willow, saying, like, you are the guide within you and use your discernment? It sounds like you're really in touch with some inner voice of your own. We got the Star healing, and we got the Sun, and I feel like these cards are really a nice echo of what this one was talking about with, like, the duality of night and day, and how there are, like, truths to be seen within both situations. And the Star is a card of healing, the Sun is a card of joy and illumination. So it just, and then plus we got the King of Cups upright, which is you being in touch with your emotions, a master of your emotions, and really kind of like being able to hold space for your whole experience of your life right now. And then we got the Knight of Wands, which is like this creative inspiration and kind of this drive to like move forward in maybe a kind of unconventional direction, right? Like, he's kind of a maverick, this guy, the Knight of Wands. And then we got this intuition healing, like, Aquarius energy with the Star, which is like, hey, you might need to go off the beaten path a little bit, but it's because you've healed a lot that there is this inner clarity, right? Like, this doesn't necessarily mean that the darkness isn't involved per this card. It's like maybe you've been through hell, and you've been through hell at this point so much that, like, when the devil speaks, you're like, like, I've heard that story a million times and I just don't believe it anymore because it's tired, it's old, it's stale, it's like not true, and I know it. So when you tell me all of these fear-based thoughts, I just can't take them seriously anymore. And that's a blessing. That's a gift, right? So that's really what I'm feeling, is just kind of like, you know what you know what you want to do, and what you want to do might not be what everyone else wants you to do, or it might not be what looks on the surface like the right move to make, but it seems like to me, based on these cards and this energy, that you have a deep inner knowing of what is right for you based on your past experiences, based on your own healing work, based on you being in alignment with yourself, based on you kind of having this like creative inspiration, based on this clarity and illumination, based on maybe time spent dealing with the darkness within yourself and with others, etc., etc. And just not letting this fear and this anxiety control your life anymore, because you're like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't ring true, or I just can't fall for it anymore. Like, even if I wanted to stay stuck, I just can't, because I know too much, kind of is the vibe. Now, I also got the Five of Swords in reverse, and this card is about winning at all costs to me. It's like this guy may have won the battle, but like he lost all these friends maybe because he played dirty, or because he just kind of like was unhonorable in his process. So it's like, but we got this in reverse. So, and also with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So with these two, I kind of feel like, the vibe to me is a little bit about and this is something I'm always personally coming back to. There's a coffee shop near where I live, and there's a sign in the the bathroom is graffitied with all these different things. And one of the graffiti things in the bathroom says, "May you live a life that feels good on the inside and doesn't just look good on the outside." And that's kind of what I'm getting with these energies. It's like the Ace of Pentacles is usually like a very positive energy of like kind of this new potential and this like planting a seed of like what you're going to build as your legacy. But with these two, it kind of feels like maybe you're being encouraged to do something, plant a seed that you know you don't want to grow, and you're not going to like the best example I can give right now is reality TV shows, right? I'm learning a lot about them because I'm in grad school and I'm in a reality TV show class, and I've learned that reality TV, in my point of view, is a little bit toxic. And I just don't like it. And maybe you do, and that's totally valid. But I feel like I know too much, right? For me, reality TV, I'm like, I've seen too much. I know too much about this process, how it works, how people are treated. I just can't, like, abide by that system anymore. For me personally, this is purely an example. Partly because it sets up competition where no one really wins. Even though a person wins, in the end, it's like, usually it's through shady dealings and through manipulation and through like all this abuse. And so it's like, you win at what cost? You win at the cost of selling your soul to the devil, which I'm personally not interested in. And that's an example. There are like things like the Great British Bake Off, which are not like that shitty. But anyway, my point is, this is an example of concrete situations. Maybe people are like, oh, you should sign up for this reality TV show because you can win a big prize. Blah, blah, blah. But maybe you, like me, are realizing, oh, you know, even though I could do this path, the costs of this path are just not worth a reward. It's not worth millions of dollars to sacrifice my peace and all this healing work I've done. And it's not worth a lot of money per se to have to treat people in a negative way or something like that. Like, I feel like, to me, what's a better use of my time is maybe doing nonprofit work. This is an example. I'm not telling you have to do nonprofit work, but like, it feels like, again, that just echoes back to the beginning of this, which is like, you have this emotional clarity on yourself based on a lot of deep healing that seems to have happened for you. And you know what your joy is. Like, maybe you don't know exactly what your joy is, but you know the feeling, and you know what brings it and what doesn't bring it. And you know, like, you just like a gut feeling that you're probably acting on, right? Where like you maybe see like opportunities for money, but it doesn't sit right with your soul, and so you're like, I can't. And so I think you're at a point, Taurus, honestly, where it's not even like you have to like do some deep checking in with yourself process to like have your answers or your clarity. I think you already have it. Like, you already know. So hopefully this message just serves as confirmation that you do know, and all of your like physical yearnings, this one, right, towards certain directions, it's like, honor that. Like, I feel like a big part of this message is just giving you permission to honor what you already know about yourself, which is like these gut, visceral, instinctive feelings based on this emotional clarity and this emotional inner knowing based on having been through everything you've been through, maybe having already been through hell, where it's like you can't listen to anything that goes against just it feels very physical of like what you really know to be true about yourself, and really bypassing this anxiety because you're really focused on the healing and taking actions that feel true to your own sense of justice, your own sense of personal right and wrong, right? And I can't tell you that because that's for you to decide. I mean, maybe for you, you love reality television and that's your purpose and that's what you should go for, right? So those were just examples, but about that, right? It's about you knowing yourself well enough to know what your element is and then to go for it and to not feel any like disappointment about passing up perceived Ace of Pentacle opportunities. You're allowed to pass up opportunities when they're not in alignment with your soul. So even though for other people it may seem like good on the surface, and like maybe your parents are like, hey, blah blah blah, you should do that thing because it's such a great opportunity. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean that it is right for you. And you know that. And you know that. And you know you're allowed to be unconventional. I know also, Taurus, you're a sign of stability, and like I think there's some tradition involved with you. But I don't think it's even about you breaking the mold of yourself. It's kind of more like being grounded and you're a fixed earth sign, but what your reading is about is you being fixed in your own groundedness of yourself, right? So it's like maybe you're allowed to just put the brakes on of anyone trying to steer you off what you intuitively know to be your course. I'm repeating myself at this point. Your reading is turning out a little bit shorter than the other ones, so I'll just see if any other cards want to come out. Oh, there's one. Okay. Interesting. And then, let's see if anything. Interesting. Okay, I guess nothing. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, great. Rainbow Bridge. This card is about taking unconventional leaps of faith, right? Which is what I've been talking about. It's like this person looks like they're leaping off a cliff. They're going in the wrong direction, but as they walk, a bridge appears under them and takes them where they need to go. So that is a big part of your message too, is like when you honor these deep inner knowings and you take your own personal steps in your own direction, even if everyone is telling you not to, but you know deep down it's right for you, the universe is going to meet you along the path and provide the confirmation, provide more of what you need to keep going. That's really what it is. So it's just saying like, yes, move where your heart and your soul are calling you and where you know deep down you need to go. And even if you don't totally know, but you just have these like yearnings or these kind of being pulled in certain directions or knowing not to go in certain directions, like honoring all of that is just going to bring you closer and closer to this deeper personal truth and satisfaction and your own personal justice. We got the 8 of Wands in reverse, and this to me feels like you don't need to rush. And I would say also with the 8 of Wands alongside the 2 of Pentacles showing up is that like part of you navigating your new path. Part of it is walking away from what no longer serves you. The Devil in reverse, the 9 of Swords in reverse, 5 of Swords in reverse, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. What I've been talking about with you, part of your journey is just saying no when you know you want to say no. And just letting that be a full statement. No means no, right? And then the next part is finding your yes. Where are your yeses? So it's like, maybe you don't completely know, but you definitely have creative inspiration. You definitely have a full sense of like what feels emotionally true to you. And so I think to me what this is saying is like balance. Inner balance is the key rather than even momentum. Like this card can kind of to me maybe be a card of momentum. It's like having the wind at your back. It's like it's sort of like the universe or spirit is kind of like moving you along swiftly. And when you're in reverse, it doesn't mean that you're not moving forward, but I think it's kind of like you're guiding your own ship, right? So it's like if you're on the ocean of the unknown, as a metaphor, it might feel like, oh, I really need wind to move me forward. But actually, maybe where you're going is not that far. So it's not the wind and the movement that you need as much as the like specific coordinates and the small shifts and turns. So, and that would be this, the balance, right? So it's like sometimes if you're moving too fast, making those swift turns is a little bit harder because so it's like kind of like you're moving forward in your life at this steady clip, saying no to the things you don't want. But as you're navigating forward and as the universe is supporting you and meeting you step by step along the journey, it's like kind of like you're navigating your own compass is the key rather than the speed or the universe having to provide wind. Meaning maybe an example of this on a more concrete level would be, okay, I'm like looking for job opportunities, but I know that the things being offered to me right now just sound kind of miserable and like they're gonna drain my soul and I'm not really going to get what I want. So maybe what I want to do is I want to create my own business. Okay, well that's a big leap of faith and people are telling me I shouldn't and I should get security, blah blah blah, but the universe is going to help me. So knowing that the universe is going to help me and meet me along the way, well, maybe I don't need to get like 100 clients overnight. Maybe what's most important is that I start meeting the right clients who are going to refer me to more of the right clients, right? So I feel like it's a slow build and it's also about maintaining that balance, right? So it's like I'm learning as I go. So since I'm learning as I go, maybe I don't want a ton of stuff hitting me all at once because then I'm going to be overwhelmed and I'm not going to like really be able to build the true thing I want. What I really want is those steps and that balance of like me taking it where I'm at, me meeting myself where I'm at. So I'm going to take on one client to start, but I'm going to make sure that one client is totally in alignment with the purpose and values of this business I'm creating. And I'm going to do a really good job for them. And that's the universe supporting me one step at a time. I'm doing one client and then they know other people of like-minded natures and they're going to refer me. And so then when I build this, I'm going to be working with people who I'm really helping and serving, and it's going to be really harmonious and beautiful, as opposed to feeling like I needed to start out with a bunch of people and then it all kind of caved in. That is the example of how to move forward. So it's not about a lot all at once. It's about taking it step by step, knowing the universe is going to help you, and also knowing that when you meet yourself and your own needs and your own values along the way, that you're only going to help support yourself build more of what you want rather than, being put back in these situations that you're ultimately walking away from. Woohoo! Wonderful. A great reading for you, Taurus. I'm excited for you. And what else? Oh yeah, if you liked this message, like and subscribe because that's how YouTube works. And let me know in the comments whatever you want to let me know. And I love you, and I'll see you again next time, whenever that is. Bye.